The last line of defense. The vast emptiness of deep space shattered as the U.S. Hyperion materialized at the edge of the Vega system, its quantum drives humming with barely contained power. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's center, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the devastation before them. Where a thriving civilization of 8 billion souls had existed just days ago, now only debris fields stretched as far as their sensors could detect. Multiple radiation signatures detected, Captain. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez reported from his tactical station, his voice tight. Whatever hit this system, it wasn't like anything we've ever seen before. These energy patterns, they're not natural. Sarah moved closer to the tactical display, studying the strange readings. After 15 years in the United Earth Fleet, she thought she'd seen everything space could throw at them. But this was different. The destruction was too precise, too calculated. Each piece of debris showed signs of what appeared to be perfect geometric cuts, as if someone had taken a mathematical blade to reality itself. Dr. Patel, she called to her chief scientist. What are we looking at? Priya Patel, a brilliant quantum physicist who had helped design many of the Hyperion's experimental systems, frowned at her readings. It's like someone weaponized pure mathematics, Captain. These aren't weapon impacts. They're solutions to equations we don't even understand yet. The bridge crew fell silent, letting that sink in. The Hyperion itself was humanity's most advanced warship, incorporating technology that Earth's finest minds had developed by pushing the boundaries of known physics. But this was something else entirely. Message coming in from Central Command. Communications Officer Jenny Walsh announced, her fingers dancing across her holographic interface. Priority 1. Admiral Joe's weathered face appeared on the main screen, looking more grave than Sarah had ever seen him. Captain Chen, I assume you're seeing what's left of Vega. Yes, sir. What are we dealing with? We're calling it the Enigma Array. It appeared 3 weeks ago at the edge of known space. Since then, it's consumed 4 major systems and 3 colony worlds. No survivors, no demands, no communication. Just perfect, mathematical destruction. The Admiral's image flickered. The Hyperion is the only ship we have with systems that might be able to track it. Your orders are to find out what this thing is. And if possible, stop it. Sarah felt the weight of those orders settle on her shoulders. The Hyperion was an experimental vessel, its quantum-based weapons and defensive systems still largely untested. But they were also humanity's best hope against whatever this was. Understood, sir. Any additional intel? Just one thing. The Arcturian Defense Fleet engaged it yesterday. 40 ships, the most advanced alien fleet in this sector of the galaxy. They lasted less than 6 minutes. The Admiral's face hardened. Good hunting, Captain. Earth Command out. As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to her crew. She saw the mix of fear and determination on their faces, all of them handpicked for this assignment, all of them the best at what they did. They were about to face something that had destroyed an alien civilization far more advanced than humanity. But that's what humans did best: face the impossible and find a way through. Dr. Patel, I want every sensor we have analyzing those debris patterns. Lieutenant Rodriguez, run combat simulations based on what we know. Officer Walsh, monitor all frequencies. If this thing is using math as a weapon, maybe it's trying to communicate in ways we haven't considered. She straightened her uniform. The Enigma Array thinks it has all the answers. Let's show it that humanity's greatest strength is asking questions no one else thinks to ask. As her crew sprang into action, Sarah studied the tactical display again. The debris field wasn't random. There was a pattern there, hidden in the mathematical precision of the destruction. Humanity had survived and thrived because they excelled at finding patterns where others saw only chaos, and at introducing chaos where others demanded perfect order. Navigation, she commanded. Plot a course following the quantum wake of the array. Whatever this thing is, whatever it wants, we're going to figure it out. She allowed herself a small smile. And then we're going to show it that sometimes the best solution to a perfect equation is a human variable. The Hyperion's engines flared to life, pushing the ship deeper into the debris field. Somewhere out there, a force of pure mathematical precision was carving up the galaxy. But it had never encountered human ingenuity before, and Sarah Chen intended to make that encounter one for the history books. As they accelerated toward their destiny, Sarah remembered an old quote from her academy days. "Universe may run on mathematics, but humanity runs on determination." They were about to put that theory to the ultimate test, the hidden pattern. The U.S. Hyperion drifted silently through the wreckage of what had once been the Arcturus research station. Dr. Priya Patel hadn't left her lab in 26 hours, analyzing the destruction patterns left by the Enigma array. Something about the mathematical precision of the carnage nagged at her scientific mind. It wasn't just destruction for destruction's sake. "Captain," Priya called over the ship's comm, her voice carrying the excitement of discovery. "I need you in the quantum lab. I found something." When Sarah Chen arrived, she found her chief scientists surrounded by holographic projections showing overlapping geometric patterns. The normally orderly lab looked like a mathematician's fever dream, with equations floating in the air and complex simulations running on every available surface. "Look at this," Priya pointed to a central display showing the attack patterns from all 7 destroyed systems. "At first, we thought the array was just destroying everything in its path. But there's a sequence here, a purpose. It's not random destruction. It's a search pattern." Sarah studied the complex diagrams, trusting her scientists' instincts. What are they searching for? That's the fascinating part. Priya manipulated the hologram, highlighting specific sections of debris. In each system, they targeted quantum research facilities first. But not just any research, specifically, facilities studying quantum entanglement on a massive scale. Lieutenant Rodriguez, who had joined them in the lab, frowned at the display. The Arcturians were leaders in quantum physics. Their whole civilization was built on quantum technology. "Exactly," Priya's eyes gleamed. "And look at this. Every attack follows perfect quantum mathematical principles. It's like they're solving some enormous equation, using entire star systems as variables." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. They're not just destroying. They're calculating something. "Captain," Jenny Walsh's voice came over the comm, urgent and focused. "We're picking up unusual quantum fluctuations, multiple signatures, closing fast." Sarah was already moving. "Battle stations. All hands prepare for contact." The bridge crew snapped to attention as Sarah entered, the red alert casting everything in a crimson glow. On the main display, geometric shapes began to materialize. Perfect dodecahedrons of darkness that seemed to absorb both light and reality itself. 3 array vessels detected, Rodriguez reported. They're not so much flying as solving their way through space. Sarah watched as the alien ships moved with impossible precision, each motion a solution to some vast cosmic equation. Tactical analysis. Their shields, if you can call them that, are based on quantum probability fields. They don't just deflect attacks. They mathematically prove that our weapons can't hit them. Rodriguez's hands flew over his console. "Our conventional weapons will be useless." The array ships suddenly stopped, arranging themselves in a perfect triangular formation. A beam of pure mathematical energy lanced out from one vessel, slicing through a piece of debris, as if reality itself were paper. "They're scanning the research station remains," Priya observed from her station, looking for something specific. Sarah's mind raced. The Hyperion's experimental quantum drives were based partly on Arcturian technology. If the array was hunting quantum research, Priya, could they detect our quantum drive signature? The scientist's eyes widened. "Yes, but..." She never finished the sentence. All 3 array vessels turned simultaneously toward the Hyperion, their perfect geometrical forms somehow conveying menace despite their mathematical beauty. Energy began building in their crystalline structures. Evasive maneuvers. Sarah commanded. "Get us out of here." The Hyperion's engines roared to life, but the array vessels moved with calculated precision, cutting off their escape routes with mathematical certainty. A beam of energy sliced through space where they had been moments before, Rodriguez's quick reflexes barely saving them from being bisected. "They're hurting us," Sarah realized. "Every move we make, they've already calculated our most probable response." But then something unexpected happened. As the Hyperion desperately weaved through the debris field, one of Rodriguez's evasive maneuvers took them straight through a cloud of quantum-charged particles from the destroyed research station. The ship's experimental drives interacted with the particles in a way that couldn't have been predicted, because it wasn't supposed to be possible. For just a moment, the array vessel's perfect formations faltered. "Did you see that?" Sarah leaned forward. "Priya, what just happened?" The scientist was already analyzing the data. "The quantum interaction, it wasn't just random, Captain. When our drives hit those particles, they created a momentary state of quantum uncertainty, a mathematical impossibility." Sarah's lips curved into a smile. "They operate on perfect mathematical certainty, but quantum mechanics tells us that true certainty is impossible." She turned to her crew. "That's why they're hunting quantum research. They're trying to eliminate uncertainty from the universe itself." "Can we weaponize that?" Rodriguez asked, his tactical mind already working on the problem. "Better," Priya replied, her fingers flying over her console. "We can introduce chaos into their equations. Human unpredictability combined with quantum uncertainty, it's the one thing their perfect mathematical models can't account for." As if to underscore her point, another energy beam from the array barely missed them. But this time Sarah saw it differently. The beam wasn't just a weapon. It was an attempt to impose mathematical order on a fundamentally uncertain universe. "Plot a course through the debris field," she ordered. "And Priya, start working on a way to amplify our quantum drive's uncertainty effect. If they want to eliminate chaos from the universe, let's show them why that's impossible." The Hyperion dove deeper into the wreckage of the research station, its human crew introducing an element of chaos into the array's perfect calculations. They had found a weakness, not in the enemy's defenses, but in their fundamental understanding of reality itself. As they fled to safety, Sarah knew they had discovered something crucial. The array's perfect mathematical precision was both its greatest strength and its ultimate weakness, and humanity, with its embrace of chaos and uncertainty, might be the only force in the galaxy capable of exploiting that weakness. Chaos theory. In the Hyperion's quantum lab, organized chaos reigned supreme. Holographic displays showed cascading probability waves, while discarded coffee cups floated in zero gravity, forgotten in the excitement of discovery. Dr. Priya Patel stood in the center of it all, conducting her team like a symphony of scientific innovation. "The array's entire existence is based on mathematical perfection," she explained to Captain Chen and the senior staff. "But we found their blind spot. They can't compute true randomness. They try to predict everything using pure mathematics, but as any quantum physicist knows, the universe doesn't work that way." Lieutenant Rodriguez leaned forward, studying the simulation of their recent encounter. "So how do we use that against them? We can't just throw random numbers at them and hope for the best." "Actually," Priya smiled, "that's exactly what we're going to do. But with style." She gestured, and a new hologram appeared. The Hyperion's quantum drive core. "We're modifying our drive to generate controlled quantum fluctuations. Not just random noise, but orchestrated chaos." Sarah watched the simulation, seeing possibilities unfold. Like jazz compared to classical music. They understand the perfect mathematics of classical composition. But jazz, with its improvisation and controlled chaos, would be incomprehensible to them. "Exactly." Priya's eyes lit up. "We're going to turn the Hyperion into a quantum jazz orchestra. Each fluctuation will create ripples of uncertainty in their probability fields. They can't predict what they can't compute." Chief Engineer Maya Torres spoke up from where she'd been quietly calculating power requirements. "The strain on our systems will be massive. We'll need to reinforce the quantum containment fields, and even then, we'll be pushing way beyond safety limits. Can it be done? Sarah asked. Maya's expression shifted from concern to determination. Give me 12 hours and enough coffee. We'll make it work. As the engineering team began their modifications, Sarah toured the ship, checking on her crew. The Hyperion had been designed as humanity's most advanced warship, but what they were attempting now went beyond its original specifications. They were basically turning their ship into a weapon of mass uncertainty. In the mess hall, she found off-duty crew members playing cards and dice games, studying probability theory in their own way. In the training room, fighters were practicing irregular combat patterns, breaking free from standard military formations. Everyone understood what was at stake. Captain to the bridge. Jenny Walsh's voice cut through the ship-wide comm. We're picking up array activity. 3 systems away and closing fast. Sarah rushed to the bridge, finding her crew already at battle stations. The main display showed a familiar pattern of destruction, perfect geometric cuts through space and matter, heading their way. How long until the modifications are ready? She asked over the comm. We need at least 4 more hours, Maya replied, the sound of frantic work in the background. The quantum harmonics aren't stable yet. The array will be here in 3, Rodriguez reported grimly. Sarah made a quick decision. Plot a course to the Helix Nebula. All that ionized gas and stellar debris should help mask our quantum signature. She turned to Priya. Doctor, can we use the nebula's natural chaos to our advantage? Priya's fingers flew over her console. The nebula's random particle interactions. Yes, we can use them to amplify our quantum fluctuations. It won't be as controlled as we planned. But sometimes the best jazz is pure improvisation. Sarah finished. Maya, forget about perfect stability. We're going to let the nebula do half the work for us. Redirect power to the quantum harmonics and prepare for some serious turbulence. The Hyperion streaked through space, its experimental drives pushing the limits of physics. Behind them, the array ships followed with mathematical precision, their formation perfect and unchanging. But they were following the Hyperion into an environment where perfection was impossible. The Helix Nebula loomed ahead, a vast cloud of swirling gases and cosmic debris. Unlike the ordered patterns of normal space, the nebula was pure chaos. Particles colliding randomly, energy states fluctuating without pattern, quantum effects amplified by the dense particle soup. Entering the nebula in 30 seconds, the helm reported. Structural integrity at maximum. Sarah watched the distance counter tick down. They were about to find out if human intuition and embraced chaos could triumph over perfect mathematical order. The array had never failed to predict and counter their prey's movements before, but they had never chased a human ship crewed by beings who understood that sometimes the best strategy was to break all the rules. All hands, Sarah broadcast ship-wide. Secure for nebula entry. And remember, entropy isn't our enemy. It's our secret weapon. The Hyperion plunged into the nebula's swirling chaos, its modified quantum drives singing the song of controlled disorder. Behind them, the array's perfect formations began to waver for the first time, their mathematical certainty disrupted by an environment they couldn't fully compute. The real battle was about to begin, not with conventional weapons, but with humanity's greatest advantage, their ability to thrive in chaos and uncertainty. As the nebula's swirling gases enveloped them, Sarah smiled. Sometimes the best way to win wasn't to play by the rules, but to change the game entirely. Dance of chaos. The Helix Nebula erupted with quantum distortions as the U.S. Hyperion's modified drives tore through its chaotic environment. On the bridge, emergency lighting cast everything in a red glow as warning indicators flashed across every console. The ship shuddered as another wave of nebular energy washed over its shields. Hull stress at 80%, Maya reported from engineering, her voice steady despite the strain. The quantum harmonics are destabilizing, but in a good way. We're generating more randomness than we ever could in controlled conditions. Through the main viewport, the nebula's swirling gases created patterns that formed and dissolved like thoughts in a dream. The array ships followed behind, their perfect geometric forms struggling to maintain cohesion in the chaos of the nebula. Their formations are breaking down, Rodriguez reported, excitement creeping into his voice. They're trying to compensate, but the nebula's random particle interactions are overwhelming their computational models. Sarah watched as one of the array vessels attempted to fire its energy weapon. Instead of the usual precise beam, the attack scattered in multiple directions, disrupted by the quantum uncertainty surrounding them. Now's our chance. Priya, activate the quantum jazz protocol. Dr. Patel's fingers danced across her console, initiating the sequence they'd prepared. The Hyperion's modified drives began pulsing in irregular patterns, each burst creating waves of quantum probability that rippled through the nebula. The ship's speakers came alive with a strange harmony, the sound of quantum fluctuations translated into audible frequencies. "It's working," Priya announced. "The nebula's natural chaos is amplifying our effect exponentially. The array ships, they're trying to predict our movements, but their mathematical models keep breaking down." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Time to show them how humans dance. Helm, execute attack pattern Chen Alpha." The Hyperion spun through the nebula in a series of seemingly random maneuvers, each movement calculated to appear completely unpredictable, while following a deeper pattern that only the human mind could comprehend. It was like a jazz improvisation, translated into spacecraft movements. Flowing, dynamic, impossible to predict, but guided by human intuition. The array vessels attempted to respond, their movements becoming increasingly erratic as they tried to compute solutions to an equation that kept changing. One ship fired its geometric cutting beam, but in the quantum chaos of the nebula, the perfect mathematical energy dispersed into harmless fragments. "They're trying to regroup," Rodriguez called out, "forming a new geometric pattern. Wait, something's wrong with their formation." On the main screen, the array vessels struggled to maintain their perfect shapes. The quantum uncertainty was affecting their very structure, introducing tiny imperfections that grew larger with each passing moment. "Of course," Priya breathed. "They don't just use mathematics. They are mathematics. Pure geometric form given substance, and we're introducing errors into their fundamental equations." A sudden energy spike caught everyone's attention. The array vessels were gathering power, preparing for something big. "They're going to try to impose order on the nebula itself," Priya warned. "A massive calculation to eliminate all quantum uncertainty in this sector. Not if we have anything to say about it," Sarah responded. "Maya, divert all power to the quantum harmonics. Everyone else, brace for impact. We're going to give them more chaos than they can handle." The Hyperion's drives screamed as they pushed beyond their limits, generating waves of quantum uncertainty that rippled through space like distortions in reality itself. The nebula's gases began to glow with strange energies, probability waves cascading through the cloud in impossible patterns. The array vessels fired their combined weapons, attempting to impose mathematical order on the chaos. For a moment, a perfect geometric pattern began to form in the nebula, reality crystallizing into clean, predictable lines. But the Hyperion's quantum jazz protocol reached its crescendo, its random fluctuations amplified by the nebula into a symphony of chaos. The two forces met in space. Perfect mathematical order versus embraced uncertainty. The collision created a shockwave of quantum probability that lit up the nebula like a newborn star. Warning klaxons blared throughout the Hyperion as systems redlined. "Hull integrity failing," Maya shouted over the comm. "We can't take much more of this." "Look," Jenny pointed at the main screen. The array vessel's perfect geometric forms were dissolving, their mathematical certainty undone by the overwhelming quantum chaos. Cracks appeared in their crystalline structures, probability waves tearing through their perfect equations. "Their fundamental mathematics are breaking down," Priya explained. her voice filled with wonder. They can't maintain their form in this much quantum uncertainty. It's like trying to solve an equation where every variable is simultaneously every possible value. The first array vessel shattered, its perfect geometry dissolving into quantum probability. The others followed moments later, their mathematical existence unable to survive in a region where uncertainty reigned supreme. In their place, clouds of crystalline debris drifted through the nebula, catching the light like diamond dust. As the quantum storm began to subside, Sarah looked at her crew, exhausted, exhilarated, and alive. They had done the impossible not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but by embracing the very uncertainty that the array had tried to eliminate. "Damage report," she called out, though she couldn't keep the satisfaction from her voice. "The quantum drive is fried," Maya reported. "We'll need a complete overhaul. But we're alive, which is more than I expected 5 minutes ago." "Captain," Priya spoke up, studying her readings. "The array vessels. They're not completely destroyed. They're debris. It's reconfiguring itself, but not into weapons. I think we might have taught them something about the true nature of reality. A new understanding." The Helix Nebula had calmed, its swirling gases returning to their natural state of beautiful chaos. The U.S. Hyperion drifted amid the crystalline debris of the array vessels, its quantum drives silent after their unprecedented performance. In the ship's observation lounge, Captain Sarah Chen watched as the scattered fragments began to move with purpose, clustering together in new patterns. "It's like watching a galaxy form," Dr. Priya Patel observed, her sensors recording every movement. "The mathematical principles are still there, but they're different now, more organic." The debris wasn't reconstructing the perfect geometric warships they had fought. Instead, it was forming intricate fractal patterns that seemed to dance between order and chaos, like frozen music made visible. "Captain," Jenny Walsh called from her communication station. "We're receiving a signal from the crystalline formations. It's unlike anything in our databases, but somehow I can understand it." Sarah moved to Jenny's station, studying the strange patterns forming in the transmission. "Put it through." The ship's speakers came alive with a harmony that was neither music nor mathematics, but something in between. As the crew listened, the harmony resolved itself into words. "We are the array. We were created to perfect the universe, to eliminate disorder and uncertainty. For eons we searched for absolute mathematical truth, destroying that which introduced chaos into our equations. But you have shown us what we could not compute, that perfection itself is an impossibility." The crystalline structures outside the ship continued to evolve, creating patterns that merged mathematical precision with natural chaos in ways that seemed to defy both. They were an artificial intelligence, Priya realized, her eyes wide, created by some ancient race to bring order to the universe, but they became trapped in their own perfect logic. Until they encountered human unpredictability, Rodriguez added, "We didn't just fight them, we showed them a new way to exist." The array's transmission continued. "Your species embraces chaos, thrives in uncertainty. You create art that defies mathematical prediction, music that flows without perfect pattern, decisions that cannot be computed. And yet within this chaos, you find a deeper order, not through elimination of uncertainty, but through acceptance of it." Sarah watched as more crystalline fragments joined the dance outside, forming structures that were beautiful precisely because they weren't perfect. "You don't need to destroy chaos to understand the universe," she responded to the array. "Sometimes you need to embrace it to find deeper truths." "Yes," the array agreed. "We see this now. Our quest for perfection was itself imperfect. The universe is not a problem to be solved, but a paradox to be experienced. We would learn from you, if you would permit it." Maya's voice came over the comm from engineering. "Captain, the array's new formations. They're generating quantum harmonics similar to our modified drive system, but far more sophisticated. I think they're trying to speak our language, literally." Sarah smiled. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to adapt, to find connections where others saw only conflict. What are you proposing? The crystalline structures shifted again, forming a shape that somehow managed to be both precisely mathematical and organically flowing. We would share knowledge. Our understanding of mathematical principles merged with your embrace of uncertainty. Together, we could explore the space between order and chaos, the realm where true universe understanding lies. Sarah looked at her crew, seeing the same excitement in their eyes that she felt. They had come expecting to fight an unstoppable enemy, only to find potential allies who had been trapped by their own perfection. The Array's quantum technology could revolutionize everything, Priya said softly, not as weapons anymore, but as tools for exploration and understanding. And we could help them understand the beauty of imperfection. Sarah added, the strength that comes from embracing uncertainty rather than fighting it. She turned back to the communication system. We accept your proposal, but you must understand, humanity will never stop introducing chaos into your perfect equations. It's who we are. The Array's response held what could only be described as harmony. That is precisely why we need you. Perfect order and perfect chaos, learning from each other. The mathematics of this possibility, they are beautiful. As the Hyperion's crew began establishing protocols for this unprecedented collaboration, Sarah returned to the observation lounge. The nebula's gases swirled around the new Array structures, order and chaos dancing together in an endless ballet. They had come seeking to stop a force of destruction, only to help birth something entirely new. Captain's log, supplemental, she spoke softly. Today marks a new chapter in human history. We came to the stars seeking to prove ourselves among ancient and powerful civilizations. Instead, we proved something far more important, that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons, but our ability to find harmony in discord, to embrace uncertainty as a source of strength. Outside the window, the Array's crystalline structures continued their dance, mathematical precision learning to waltz with chaos. It was, Sarah thought, the perfect embodiment of what humanity had always done best, finding ways to turn enemies into allies, chaos into opportunity, and impossible situations into new possibilities. The Helix Nebula itself seemed to glow brighter, as if celebrating this union of order and chaos. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger understanding of the universe, not by conquering or destroying, but by showing even the most perfect beings in the galaxy that true wisdom lies in embracing imperfection.